Happy Valentine's Day, you guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. Remember, it is a day to give and receive love, not just, getting it from a romantic person, but get it from your children. Give it to your children. Get it and receive it from your friends. Get it and receive it from yourself. Get it and receive it from God. Right? So the rest of this message I recorded yesterday, and I'm going to attach it at the end of this. But I wanted to come back and say this because in the season of Valentine's Day, and you see all these beautiful couples and everything is red and pinked out and just symbolizing love, it is definitely easier to be frustrated when you find yourself in a season of waiting for God to bless you with love, God to bless you with your person. You guys are going to hear in the rest of this how God spoke to me about my person yesterday. But I asked God, when God had me to reach out to him, I asked him, give me a scripture that can assist me with the words that you want me to say to him. And God led me to 1 John chapter 4. And I'm not going to read the whole chapter, but it talks about how God is love. But the thing that really got me is 17 and 18. It says, "And as we live in God, our love grows more perfect. So we will not be afraid on the day of judgment, but we can face him with confidence because we live like Jesus here in this world. Such love has no fear because perfect love expels all fear. If we are afraid, it is for fear of punishment, and this shows that we have not fully experienced his perfect love." Verse 19, we love each other because he loved us first. And so I think this is important to add here because I want you guys to understand and really understand, based off my testimony, what I'm going to tell you all at the end of this. When you receive the love that you have prayed for, it's going to come in a form that you are not used to, that you're not expecting it to, that don't look like how you want it to look. It's just the complete opposite. Don't run from it, y'all. It is God's love. So it is the most purest thing that you can ever experience. Don't run from it and don't push it away. When God's love comes through another person, I want you to be ready to receive it. So sit in God's presence right now. And I know nobody wants to hear that, but sit in his presence so you can learn how to give that pure love and how to receive that pure love. Because the exchange that you have with the person God sends to you is supposed to be God-led, God-sent. So God is going to be all up and through that thing. That love is supposed to exemplify who God is. So sit right now and ask God to help you learn to love yourself. Ask him to help you learn to love other people, and ask him, what is it supposed to look like for you to love his son or his daughter? What does that look like? And what does it look like when I receive that love? Because I want to know when you send that person to me. Everybody don't have the same testimony as me where you know who your person is. Some of y'all are still dating and just trying to see who God has sent. God, the person that you have for me, what does it look like? What can I expect? This person is loving me the way that you love me. What can I expect? What is it going to look like? Ask God to show you what that love looks like so you don't miss it. Ask him to show you how to give that love so you don't mishandle it. And that's all I got to say, y'all. I got to get ready because me and my baby have a date. So you guys enjoy your Lover's Day. I hope y'all be safe. I hope y'all have fun. And just love today, y'all. Just love. Hey, y'all. So today is Thursday, February 13th. And I am in my feelings right now, so I'm not going to come on camera because I already have been crying, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to cry somewhere through this thing. But I said in one of my last videos, God had me to stop reaching out to my best friend or whatever. And this morning, I seen on somebody's story this video of this, I think it was a preacher of some sort, but he was applauding stepfathers. And immediately I felt like I should send that to my best friend, but I was just like, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait till God tell me to send something like that. So I forgot the scripture that he gave me that let me know to send it. And I did. And I sent that, and I sent a message about it, how I felt about him being in my son's life. Now, let me just go back here. December 24th, 2020, I wrote a letter to my future husband. This was before God even told me that my best friend was my husband, but I wrote a letter to him, and I was very, 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 very specific. Y'all, listen, when you go to God with certain requests, please be specific. I was specific about everything that I could be specific about. Okay? While I did not talk about what I wanted my husband to look like physically, I was honest about where I needed him to be financially when we met, the type of relationship that he had with the people around him, whether he had kids, he had a good relationship with his kids and the kids' mother. He did not have a lot of kids. He had a great relationship with his mother and his family. He had a great relationship with my son. He respected my relationship with my son, and he had his own relationship. I was specific about certain sexual things. Like, I was very specific because me and God, we just had that relationship where I feel like I could be specific. And guess what? Y'all should have that relationship with him too, so y'all could feel like y'all could be specific with him as well. But I was very specific. But one of the things that I mentioned when it comes to my son is I said, you love my son more than you love me. I don't know what would make me ask for something like that, but I did. And then I think about this in this time where me and my best friend have not spoken. And when I told him something that happened with my son at school, he jumped on it. That was the only time he responded. He hadn't responded to none of my other messages except for when I told him that my son had an issue with school. And then I reached out to him in early February, and I said, can you talk to him? And he was like, give me an hour. And he called and he talked to him. And I think about how much, it don't matter what I say. At this point, nothing I say can move him. But if I call him about my son, and of course, with God's leadership, right? Because I can't tell him no nonsense like, hey, he was kidnapped. I need to talk to you. Like, I can't play with it. I have to be serious. And of course, God is going to lead him in responding and being and receiving that. So I got emotional because for some reason I just felt led to read. So y'all remember that I told y'all that I took him out for Father's Day last year, and we ended up going out on June 25th. And I read this letter. I read this letter to him, and I just felt led to go and read it again today. And I got so emotional because a lot of the things that I said in that letter are what I just said in the message that I just sent to him. However, there was a point in time last year when I had got mad at him, I kind of like talked against those things, right? And so I'm a little emotional about it because as much as my best friend won't say, like, he wants to be in my son's life, I know that. I know he does. However, like, for me as a single mother, I just want to make sure I'm not pressuring no man to do something he doesn't want to do or he's not ready to do. Because my best friend doesn't have any kids. So imagine him being a father figure to a single mother that he's not in a relationship with. Like, I just want to make sure we're on the same page across the board. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to make sure I'm not doing too much. And so I asked God, like, how do we get around that bump? Because, sometimes you got to be away from people to, like, really, really, really appreciate them. And while I've always felt this way about my best friend, I was so scared to show it. Because, again, it's not something that he's asked for. It's something that God is putting him in the position to receive. But he's not confirming that God wants him to receive it. He's just showing up. And God is telling me, yes, he wants to receive it. Or God is pushing me to do certain things. And it's kind of like I'm looking for the validation from him. Like, are you sure this is okay? This is okay? And he's not saying nothing. And it has scared me. And so I think about how I come forward and pull back and come forward and pull back. So I was reading, I was talking to God about it, and I had a question for him, but I couldn't get the question out, so I just had him to send me to something. And he sent me to Esther chapter 8. Now, what really got me was in verse 5, Um, it says, Esther said, if it pleases the king, and if I have found favor with him, and if he thinks it is right, and if I am pleasing to him, let there be a decree that reverses the orders of Haman, son of Hammedatha the Agagite, who ordered that Jews throughout all the king's provinces should be destroyed. For how can I endure to see my people and my family slaughtered and destroyed? And in that, I feel like it's both ways. I feel God is finding favor with me, and this is why he is blessing me with this man who, even though the enemy has worked so hard to sever his connection from us, he's still there. So I feel like God is saying he's pleased with me. He has found favor with me, and that's why he's blessing me in this position. But I also feel like he's even saying my best friend is going to be able to move forward. He's going to be able to know why I act how I act in certain ways. And I don't mean to be emotional about it, but it's, y'all, I've never loved somebody as much as I love him. I've never loved somebody as much as I love him. And so think about some of the things that I've said, and I don't love nobody as much as I love my son. These are the, outside of God, these are the top two people that I love more than anybody in this world. And to know that they have the relationship that they have, and to know how much I have broken that and interfered with that. And now, like, now that I got it together, it's so wrong for me. I feel like it's so wrong for me to even desire my best friend to look at me differently, to look at me other than how he may look at me now. Like, I know God has graced him to deal with me and stuff like that, but, you know, I've said some hurtful things, and I feel like it's so unfair for me to even want him to be in that position anymore, but I do. And so when I'm reading this, and if you move forward in verse 8, it says, now go ahead and send a message to the Jews in the king's name, telling them whatever you want and seal it with the king's signet ring. But remember that whatever has already been written in the king's name and sealed with his signet ring can never be revoked. And I feel like God is saying there, like, what I said is going to be. Like, that doesn't change. That doesn't change. What I've already said, the promise that I've given you, the position that this man plays in your life, it's already set in stone. That can't be changed. There's nothing that you could have done to change that. There's nothing that you can do to change that. It's already there. You didn't mess up, and that's what I really feel. I feel like I messed up. And he's telling me you didn't mess up, right? But you just have to know to do better in the future. Like, you know, let last time be the last time you messed up. Let last time be the last time. You can't make it a habit, and you cannot be moving like that. And he further confirmed it, y'all, where it says, so on June 25th, the king's secretaries were summoned and a decree was written exactly as Mordecai dictated. June 25th is the day that I took him out for Father's Day and I read the letter to him. I'm going to go ahead and read the letter to y'all. I'm going to read the letter. So it says, to the man of little words, but a whole lot of action. I know you aren't really big on having a label when it comes to my son. At least I don't think you are. Either way, it's not necessary. You are literally the only consistent man he knows. A healthy and positive man. One that I would want him to be just like when he gets older. I appreciate you for loving him so much that you didn't allow my fears to push and keep you away. This is still a struggle some days, but I trust God and I trust you. I wanted to celebrate you for all the different ways you add to us. I will run out of time trying to name every little thing you do, but here are a few I can think of right off the top of my head. Patience. The patience you have with him is unmatched. It only encourages me to become more patient. Your calmness but stern demeanor. Your ability to discipline him without being disrespectful, without raising your voice, without minimizing him or his feelings. You take notice of all these different components and can still love on him while correcting him. Being a single mom, it was a fear of mine that a man with no children wouldn't know how to interact with a child. But you do better than most dads, to be honest. Protection. Emotionally, mentally, physically. I see how you look out for him when we're out, when you watch him and me to make sure we're good. That doesn't go unnoticed. You will never understand how much I trust you with him, and you know he's my baby, so that's not an easy task. Unconditional love. I never knew what that was before you. So seeing you love on my baby with no attachments, seeing your desire to be in his life despite me being a butthole sometimes, I enjoy being able to experience that. Because as a mom, it is important to me that I witness a man do something his own father couldn't do. But it's also important that he enjoys the experience. My baby boy loves you and he respects you. Friendship. I appreciate the way you have developed a friendship with him, that you talk together, you all play and laugh together. You see him as a person, a little person, but a person. I never knew that was something I needed to see, friendship between a child and an adult. But I see a genuine relationship that has nothing to do with me, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you taking the initiative in establishing your own connection with him versus allowing me to control that. I celebrate you today because you exemplify everything a father is, and it's a genuine and intentional action on your part. I thank God for allowing you into our lives because your presence is one of the greatest blessings. I pray you never feel unnoticed or unappreciated, and in those moments that you might, you remember us and understand how important you are. We thank you for guiding us. We thank you for helping us, and we thank you for loving us. Happy Father's Day. And yeah, it's just, it's constant prayer. Let me just say this because I know this world is so hurtful and there are so many of us who want love and we're scared of it. Y'all, love is trying because it's an action to continue choosing the person that you are with. But please don't allow fear to keep you from something that you want. I wrote this letter to my husband December of 2020. And I've had that for some time, and I've acknowledged that I've had it, but I still have allowed fear to scare me and say that it's not going to last, or he's not sincere, or because he's not saying it, that he ain't really meaning it. And all of this different stuff that's clouding my judgment when it's literally right here. It's literally right here in front of me. So, yeah, I guess that's the message. Don't allow fear to cloud your judgment. Don't allow fear to keep you from what God is blessing you with. Don't allow fear to keep you from the very things that you have been praying to God for. Sometimes, y'all, we get that hard heart and we're like, oh yeah, I don't even want love. You know what? I don't even want love. Like, I don't even need this. Listen, if you want love, I'm going to tell y'all like I told my friend, you do want love. Stop saying it. First off, if you just saying it randomly, ain't nobody even talking about love. We talking about we finna make some hot wings. And you just randomly talking about, you know what, y'all, I'm so tired of relationships. I don't even want a relationship no more. You absolutely want a relationship. You absolutely do. Stop saying it. Stop saying it. The stuff that you talk about the most is the stuff that you want the most. And we just be trying to be so hard about it. Yeah, I don't need that. You want it though. Be honest and say that you want it, because guess what? The more you keep speaking against the things that you want, the further they get away from you, the longer it's going to take for it to come into your life. Stop speaking against it. If you want that job, say you want that job. If you want that move, say you want that move. If you want love, say you want love. Why is you talking about you don't want it? You do want it. And there's nothing wrong with wanting it. You're not crazy.
You're not crazy for going through 3 divorces and still wanting to be married. You have that desire because that's what God placed within you. You desire certain things. If you desire something, if you want something and you let it go and it keep coming back to you, that is a desire that God has placed in your life. He intends to fulfill that through you. So if you have a business idea that you keep shunning, you done shunned this business idea for 5 years, but it keep coming back and different people keep coming back with it, that's an idea. That's a business venture God wants you to start. The idea of marriage, you done been divorced 5 times already, but the idea of marriage keeps hunting you down. God intends for you to be married. The 6th one might be the charm. You keep saying you don't want kids. Kids is a hassle. You like the rich auntie life. You like the rich uncle life. You don't want kids. But it keep following you. You keep seeing kids. You keep waking up with dreams of kids. You're yearning for kids. Yo, you want kids. God intends for you to have kids. Stop saying you don't want them. Like, it's just, it's so much easier said than done, y'all, because unfortunately I had to go through losing one of the best things that I've ever had for me to know and understand that, first off, I got exactly what I wanted. Secondly, it looks in a different way than what I wanted, but it's exactly what I wanted. And thirdly, to learn how to appreciate it more, better. I want to save you all from this. I mean, some of us got to go through it, right? Because some of us have to learn how to take care of the things that we have. We have to learn how to be better stewards of the things that God is blessing us with. I unfortunately had to learn the hard way. It is what it is. I bet you it won't happen again, though. I tell you that much. Bet you I shut my mouth next time. Bet you I appreciate that man next time. Bet you I do what God tell me to do next time. So yeah, y'all, I just wanted to bring that up because when he said Esther 8, and then it talked about how, Esther still wanted to please the king, and he was pleased, and that's why he wrote a decree. And then it mentioned June 25th, which is the day that I said this stuff to my best friend. Listen, that wasn't nothing but God. Now I gotta go study and see what else he's trying to say to me. But yeah, I just wanted to record this little word. I hope it speaks to you in whatever way God intends for it to speak to you. Because it's something when God be trying to bless us with something and we be pushing it away because it ain't coming how we want it to come. Don't do that. Hey, y'all. It is still Thursday, February 13th. It's 1:15 p.m. Y'all's father got me crying again. Y'all, I'm just trying to enjoy my day before my baby get out of school. I just opened my laptop again and I got on YouTube. And I seen where a video that I was playing, she hadn't started the song yet, but it was referencing Monica, Angel of Mine. And so when I said the part, what you mean to me, you'll never know, I got shaky in my voice, but then I said, I'm different now. You helped me grow. And y'all, I just started bawling. I just started bawling my eyes out. And so I'm asking God, like, yo, what are you doing today? Like, what are you trying to say? And I went to my Bible app. I was still in Esther 8, but I came out of it and I scrolled and it took me back to Esther 8. And so he said, I'm going to give you a new verse here. So I started reading, and starting at verse 1, it says, on that same day, King Xerxes gave the property of Haman, the enemy of the Jews, to Queen Esther. Then Mordecai was brought before the king, for Esther had told the king how they were related. The king took off his signet ring, which he had taken back from Haman, and gave it to Mordecai. And Esther appointed Mordecai to be in charge of Haman's property. And the breakdown that he gave me is God positioning my husband in his position. not only did the king take off his signet ring and give it to Mordecai, which was him appointing Mordecai in a certain position, but then it says Esther appointed Mordecai to be in charge of Haman's property. So it was like Esther and the king, they came together in that moment and they promoted Mordecai to this position. And when I think of Haman, I just think about the enemy. I think about my fear. I think about my frustration. I think about everything that has held me captive, which has kept me from being as vulnerable and being as open and loving to my best friend as possible. And in this verse, God is saying, God and I are both in alignment with his plan. And not only that, but it says Mordecai was brought before the king. And I think about how I had to lift my best friend back up to him. I had to give him back to God, because as much as I can say, like, I did stuff wrong and I said stuff wrong, this is not a blame game type thing, but this is also not a thing where I was just the only person that did wrong, right? There's a certain woman God was looking for out of me, but there was a certain man that God was looking for out of my best friend. And so God had to do work to him as well. So he had to be presented to God, just like I had to be presented to God. And God had to do a work in both of us. And so this God is just saying, like, he's being appointed and we are both. And y'all, those are the only the verses that I read before God started talking. But it's like, yeah, like, I want you to think about it. It said the king took off his signet ring. This is a ring that, like, allows whoever the king give it to, it allows him to make decisions on behalf of the king. So even in a marriage, when a man has been appointed to be the leader of the house, God has given that man authority to make certain decisions for that family. But I want you to think about it. It's not just a man type thing. Like, the same way that Mordecai was appointed or given the signet ring by the king is the same way that he was appointed by Esther. It's a partnership. It's a partnership, no matter how you look at it. Whether we're talking about me and God appointing my best friend, or me and my best friend coming together in marriage and making a decision as a couple, as a married couple. Like, it's a partnership. It's not something that you just do on your own. And so, yeah, and again, that song, I can even say that's a song that I'm singing about him. That's a song that he's singing about me. That's a song that either of us is singing about God, right? So it's just, y'all, God is so amazing. And like I said in that video, we can't run from the things that God is trying to bless us with. You got to understand, the people that God blesses us with, they are here to love us and cover us in the way that God covers us. So God is essentially passing the baton to the person who he is calling to cover us. Whether it's me covering my best friend or my best friend covering me, God is passing us the baton. God is saying, you are well. Like, I trust my child with you. I'm passing the baton for you to cover my child. I'm still watching. I'm still in the room. But I trust you enough to take care of this person. So I say that to say, when God sends that person to you, when God sends your destiny partnerships, your romantic partnerships, the new job with the great manager, be a great steward and let these people cover you in the way God intends for them to cover you. It is a protection from God, y'all. This is God trying to love on you in human form. This is God trying to love on you in human form. Let him love on you. Let him love on you through another human being. That's all I got. I'm pretty sure he's going to have me come back. I don't know what I'm going to title this message, but I'm going to put all of these words that I record today. I'm going to put all of them in one word. But yeah, he probably won't have me come back because he just got me crying over every little thing and I don't like it. I'm just trying to enjoy my time. But I'll see y'all later.